Welcome everyone to Sprint Cup Series qualifying at one of the fastest tracks on the circuit. It is time to go fast for a couple of laps here and get a good starting position for Sunday's 500-miler, because history tells us that starting up front in this race is huge. Jeff Gordon was fastest in practice. He will see if he can make that stand up in qualifying, along with 42 of his other friends who will be starting in this race on Sunday night. It's going to be a barn burner because there are only 2 races to go before the chase, so the pressure definitely is on. Welcome back once again, everyone, to the Atlanta Motor Speedway. I'm John Roberts. Let's take a look at practice highlights, see who was fast in the happy hour session, which was neither happy nor an hour, but a couple guys who were kind of happy. Definitely Greg Biffle, 5th fastest in the practice session, has a history of running well here and still has an outside shot at getting in the chase, albeit a long shot. He could still get it done. One of the hottest drivers on the series lately has to be Brad Keselowski. A 1.75 finishing average in the last 4 races has him solidly in one wild card position. And there's no slowing this guy down on a fast track like Atlanta. A guy who needs a good run in a bad way is Clint Boyer, hanging on the outside, looking in. He was 3rd fastest in the final practice, looking to bounce back from a subpar running at Bristol just 1 week ago. And always fast here at Atlanta, Tony Stewart was 2nd fastest in final practice. He's defending race winner here, and boy, does he ever need a win. He's one of 2 winless drivers in the top 10 in points at this time and has been trending downward lately. But Jeff Gordon was fastest in final practice, a 4-time winner at this racetrack, a little bit better than 182.39 miles per hour. And therefore, Jeff will have one of the best qualifying positions and also hopefully a good look at this racetrack when the green flag drops. Let's take a look at some of your notable drivers, some of the chasers and the chasees, and some of the drivers with wins so far this year and where they practiced in that final session. Tony Stewart was 2nd. That bodes well for Smoke, as he needs a good run in a bad way, as we've mentioned just a moment ago. Brad Keselowski's been fast every weekend, and Denny Hamlin, with the 1 win, has a hold of one of the wild card positions right now. David Reagan was 15th fastest. He has a win, as does Marcus Ambrose, Harvick, Paul Menard, and Jimmy Johnson a little bit further back in the pack. But the last 4 winners on this series are eligible for a $3 million bonus, so that's definitely something to keep an eye on. But right now, let's check in with Randy Pemberton, who's standing by with one of the crew chiefs who has a shot at winning this championship. Randy?
Well, we've caught up with Jimmy Finnick before qualifying here at Atlanta. Always trying to fly under the radar, but we did corner you this time. Hey, you guys are having a terrific year. You've had some great runs of recent, up to 3rd in the points. What do you guys need to do this week, I guess, just to make sure you continue that momentum? Of course, some more bonus points would help, another win.
Well, of course, we got to get them bonus points, and here at Atlanta, we're struggling a little bit, but hopefully come tomorrow night, we'll be able to put that car together and get it to the front.
You know, a lot of the drivers, and of course everybody in here, are talking about how rough this track is, how slick it is. How do you combat that? I mean, you've got a driver that can drive a slick racetrack. There's no question about that. But how do you go about making him comfortable where you can run a 40-lap run and him not scream at you?
I don't know. Today was a bad day. We actually had 2 flat tires, and of course NASCAR limits you to 5 sets of tires and kind of shorten our practice up. But when you got Matt Kinson, you got it. He likes a place like this, so that makes our job a little easier.
He's been a little bit up on the wheel qualifying lately. All of a sudden, it's kind of like a new Matt. So what do you expect in qualifying?
I don't know. Let's hopefully a top 10 out of qualifying. But no, he's been doing an awesome job. The guy's been getting the cars good for him, and hopefully tonight we'll get good qualifying, and tomorrow I'll have a good finish.
Jim, thanks for talking to us. Have a good qualifying effort. Johnny?
Randy, you got that right. Those are 2 guys that like to race underneath the radar. Best finish here at Atlanta for Matt Kenseth is a 2nd, 8 top 5 finishes, nice average finish of 13.0. And on any given night, you can look for Matt Kenseth to be consistent, and that's why he is a former champion in this series. Matter of fact, Matt was the last guy to win on the old format, so he still has yet to have a chase format style championship victory. So now we're going to take a look at the points, see who is running where as we head into this weekend, and this is getting big because we're 24 races in. After 26, the chase is set. Top 6 drivers are locked into the chase as of right now. Ryan Newman and Kurt Busch, with their wins, are virtual locks as of right now. Dale Earnhardt Jr., 39 points to the good. Tony Stewart, 21 to the points to the good, are inside right now and have a good shot at staying there unless somebody back here can jump up and knock them out of that position. Brad Keselowski with the 3 wins has the wild card, as does Denny Hamlin. Clint Boyer, 22 points out from 10th spot. That's the distance he'd have to make up to knock Tony Stewart out of the running, but it seems like those two guys just can't get away from each other on the racetrack. Also with an outside shot, A.J. Allmendinger, Kane, Biffle, Truex. It is a long shot, but it is possible. Let's go back to Randy Pemberton, who's in the infield. Randy?
Yeah, another long shot would, of course, be David Reagan, driver the number 6. We Love Logistics, UPS Ford for Roush Fenway Racing. This team certainly needs something good to happen for him here at Atlanta. They're close by David's hometown of Unadilla, Georgia. He loves this racetrack. He has a top 10 here. But the bottom line is a lot of pressure on these guys. It was reported this week that UPS will be cutting back its major sponsorship in Roush Fenway Racing. We'll have to see exactly what that entails. It's also been reported that they're going to take some $100 million and put it into college athletics. So it could possibly be a major hit for Roush Fenway Racing. We know that all race teams are down here trying to secure the funding to put on the best show that they can for their race fans, but there's probably no more pressure than there is on anybody, Johnny, than there is David Reagan. He got that win, but still struggles to stay or get into the top 20 and have an outside shot at making the chase. A couple of wins would go a long way for these guys. John?
Yeah, absolutely. Winning is what it's all about these days. If you're one of those race fans who asked NASCAR to make winning more important, you have to say mission accomplished, because winning is everything when it comes to making the chase and also being able to secure that sponsorship. Now, starting up front is huge here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. 14 of the 103 races were won from the first starting position. There's a long history at this track and a long history of drivers qualifying well and running well. Only 7 races are won from a starting position worse than 20th, so it can happen, and the last 14 races were won from a starting position of 11th or better. So that is what we're looking at as we head into qualify right now, because when we set the grid, starting up front is going to be huge. And also another thing to keep an eye on, the last 4 race winners, including Brad Keselowski, Paul Menard, and others, Kyle Busch as well, are eligible for Sprint's $1 million bonus. That means if they can get the win, they can get $1 million for charity, $1 million for a fan, and $1 million for themselves. So we'll have to keep an eye on those drivers. Let's go back to Randy Pemberton.
Yeah, certainly a lot of focus, not only on those drivers eligible for the $3 million, but everybody that is going to potentially make this chase and who might fall out. But there's still a bunch of guys like David Reagan, this piece we just did. Also, Brian Vickers, driver for Red Bull Racing. We have heard nothing about Red Bull Racing at this point in time. We do know that Red Bull will be pulling out of the sport after this season. The question is going to be, will this team remain? Can they buy the hardware on this team and keep it going? What will happen to Brian Vickers? So we're waiting, and just like David Reagan, Brian Vickers is more than capable of running up front in a place particularly like Atlanta. He's got a bunch of top 5s here. This guy needs a win, and it may just save this race team. Guys?
Yeah, winning is that important these days. Randy, thanks a lot. We don't want to leave Marcus Ambrose out of those list of drivers that's eligible for that Sprint $1 million bonus, because that's going to be really cool if somebody can pull that off, especially for a fan and a charity and the driver as well. It is time now to set the grid for Sunday night's 500-miler. Sprint Cup Series qualifying is coming your way now with Steve Burns.
NASCAR Race Day heats up Hotlanta. Martin Truex Jr. and Brad Keselowski join us live. And we'll tell you if this weekend is a must-win for Smoke. NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot, Sunday at 4:30 Eastern. Live on Speed.
This summer, we're all getting a shot at victory lane. The Sprint Summer Showdown presented by the HTC Evo 3D is giving a driver, their charity, and one lucky fan a shot at $1 million each. Tune in September 4th to see who comes out on top.
Dad, why are you getting that? Is there a prize in there?
There's a prize, all right.
Inside every box of Cheerios are those great-tasting little O's, made from carefully selected oats that can help lower cholesterol.
Is it a superhero?
Kinda.
Golden Corral's new pan-seared seafood cooking station is now open. Chefs are standing by. It's delicious shrimp made to order. It's tilapia seared to perfection right before your eyes. It's all part of our endless dinner buffet, still for around $10, only at Golden Corral.
Look, we've all dealt with the itching of athlete's foot. I can't just wash it away. Killing it takes clinical strength. I only use Lotrimin Ultra. Its powerful formula can even cure severe cases of athlete's foot. Nothing cures better. Lotrimin Ultra, the killer cure.
Emily's just starting out and on a budget, like a ramen noodle every night budget. She thought Allstate car insurance was out of her reach until she heard about the value plan. Dollar per dollar, nobody protects you like Allstate.
You don't have to go to extreme measures to get better mileage.
Just do simple things like have your tires checked for proper inflation.
Or get your oil changed and your car serviced regularly.
Just routinely change clogged air filters. At NASCAR, we're even changing our engines to fuel injection in 2012 to increase mileage and performance.
For more car maintenance tips and to enter the Extreme Measure Sweepstakes, visit NASCAR.com/auto.
It's got to be a lot easier than this.
It's time to set the field for Sunday night's race here, the AdvoCare 500 at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Boy, it's been a hot day. You see some clouds rolling in, temperatures near the mid-90s. Blazing sun baking this racetrack all afternoon. And hi, everybody. Glad you're with us again. Steve Burns, Larry McReynolds, and Kyle Petty. And, you know, Kyle, we've talked about how fast this place is. But you know what, Larry? Of the last 14 races here, all but one has been won from a top 10 starting position.
Well, I think because it is one of the fastest racetracks, what that tells me is when you come here and you unload and you're fast for qualifying, that you're able to contain that speed for even 500 miles. But as far as this qualifying, I think it's a huge unknown. We had an hour-and-a-half practice earlier today. No driver made a practice qualifying run because it was in the heat of the day. It's been 24 hours since these drivers actually made mock qualifying runs. I know Brad Keselowski, hottest driver on the circuit, was fastest, but I don't think we have a clue who truly can sit on this pole.
Kyle, speaking of Brad Keselowski, he said on Race Hub the other night, when you qualify here, it's like driving off of a two-story building when you come out of turn one.
You know, the problem with this place is, and I heard Jeff Burton talking about it earlier, Jeff talked about how slow the pace is. He said it's almost like a Wilkesboro or Darlington. It just falls off, and you're just hanging on. But when it comes to qualifying, you're hanging on the other end of that spectrum. You come from the straightaways and barrel off in the corner. You'll see those guys, most of them will try to get to the bottom of the racetrack, and they'll drive until they see God. Then they'll let up, and then they'll go again. And that's the way it is. It is one of the most harrowing qualifying experiences you ever have, and you got to hit your marks. And if that thing bobbles a little bit, you lose a ton of momentum because this is a momentum track.
And you know, honestly, looking back at that practice, I see a lot of drivers, they need something to happen here with 2 races before the chase, even if it's just sitting on the pole. Denny Hamlin was second quickest last night. Clint Boyer was third quickest. Greg Biffle was right up there in the top 5, and he was actually pretty quick in that practice earlier today. That would be a great way to start the weekend by sitting up near the front of the field and qualifying, maybe even on the pole.
Hardworking Wendy Venturini is standing by with Scott Speed.
Well, thank you, Steve. Yes, I was just chatting with Scott about your race car too. I want to know how qualifying is going to go for you, Scott. Were you able to learn anything earlier today? And I know you were just chatting with some drivers as well.
It's just one of those things where you're not really doing a lot of practice for us. I mean, we're doing qualifying runs, and tires is a big thing. So we'll see what the new weather conditions bring. We'll hopefully learn a little bit from the 37, see what he says about the track, and put a solid lap in there.
All right, your wife is 2 or 3 weeks away from your first baby.
She's not soon enough. The sooner the better, because it's emotionally draining on all of us.
It sure is. Well, good luck to Scott Speed, and I can only imagine how she feels right now. Steve.
Yes, you can, Wendy.
Scott Speed already has 1 win under his belt this weekend. He actually was part of the winning team at the Reed Sorensen Charity Golf Tournament on Thursday for Speedway Children's Charity.
Larry Mack, how did you play?
I got my money's worth. I hit them a lot.
Early and often.
Yeah, and as I tell people all the time, the safest place you can stand when I hit my golf ball,
behind you,
right in the middle of the fairway.
Tony Raines, the first driver out. He'll be followed by T.J. Bell, David Starr, and Mike Bliss.
You know, the biggest thing, I think, even from last night, we had a fairly late practice. I truly believe that everyone's going to run significantly quicker than they ran last night. This track, I think, is going to gain a lot of grip. It's a lot more overcast right now than it was last night. We actually had sun on turn 3 and 4 most of that practice. This first lap is a 30.87. And if you look back at his practice speed from last night, 31.99, so he's picked up over a second. And I think here's what we'll see, and Kyle, you and I were talking about this earlier. We've got 47 drivers here. No question the top 35 will probably only run one lap. I think if a go-or-go-homer like Tony Raines doesn't feel good about his first lap, he'll probably go ahead and run a second lap.
Yeah, and we see his second lap's a little bit slower than his first lap, and that's one of the reasons. But the other is, as I said in the opening here, it is such an intense lap. You've got to hit your marks, and you've got to be good. These guys that are in the top 35, they don't need the second lap.
Bob Diller also on pit road. Bob?
Well, Steve, Kevin Harvick and I were just talking about how incredible the temperature swing has been. The clouds have come over, and it's actually nice here. We got a breeze. It's kind of cool, but we're also talking about how much you love this racetrack and what it's gotten like for qualifying, for race. Why do you like it so much?
It's just a challenge every lap. You know, I wish we were going right now because that's a really nice cloud right there. And it looks like the other ones are a little away from the sun, so hopefully we can get another one. But all in all, Ream Chevrolet has been really good in race trim. We didn't start good yesterday, but today's been really good for us. Probably not expecting a lot out of qualifying just because, you know, it just for whatever reason, just don't have a lot of speed for the first 4 or 5 laps. So that's here. It's all about lap 10 to when you make a pit stop again, and you can make up a lot of time.
I remember interviewing him after qualifying a couple of years ago. Steve, his hand was shaking.
Yeah, Bob, we were talking earlier about Jeff Bodine's track record here back in 1997. About, what was it, Larry? Almost 198 miles an hour.
Yeah, 28.074. It was right after they reconfigured it and repaved it, and Jeff Bodine said, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to run wide open around this mile-and-a-half racetrack. He said he could feel the tires sliding a little bit, but he never got out of the throttle.
Yeah, Jeff said he was going to go do it, and everybody said if you do it, you can have it, so they let him have it. That was
exactly.
Nobody else wanted to try that. That was a phenomenal lap that night. TJ's way up out of the groove right there, coming back on his second lap.
Yeah, 31.03 on lap 1, and then 31.26 on lap 2. I would not feel very good about a lap that's above 31 flat right now.
TJ Bell in the Green Smoke Chevrolet. He has 4 Truck Series starts here in Atlanta with the best finish of 9th. David Starr up next, trying to make his 4th Cup start of 2011.
Steve's bar. Stevie.
I'm buying. Everybody come over.
Look at that. Southside Steve. That's what I'm going to call you the rest of the night. Southside Steve.
That's how I roll. You were heading back to Charlotte after
race
the
party
session.
He's wrong.
After I go by the pub.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. See how business is?
That's how we roll.
Who's on the track right now, Southside?
David Starr, Plano, Texas.
Man, was he excited to make the race at Bristol.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just excited. And, that, you know, that's cool. I like that emotion and when you see that from these guys, because we talk so much about the other end of the field and how these guys are in the chase and they're all like, well, I'm running like junk and I'm all this stuff. And here's a guy who's just trying to get into this series, running more and more races, runs a truck series. But when you look at it, he's just excited to be here racing against these guys. He took a double swipe at that one to get it up off the corner.
You know, his crew chief is Wally Rogers.
Was it really?
Yeah, sure is. So he's got some good folks working for him.
Good lap right there.
Yeah, he goes to the top of the chart as far as all the drivers, but go homers right now at a 30.84. Mentioned trying to make his 4th start. The only race that he's been to this year that he did not qualify for was the Kentucky race a few weeks ago.
Yeah, but he just wanted to beat the traffic up there.
In or out?
I'm sorry.
You had to do it.
I'm sorry, Bert.
Had to do
That was just there. That laid there. I couldn't help it.
That was a softball.
30.90. So he slows down about a half a tenth. So far, it's pretty much lap 1 or none.
Coming up, we'll see Mike Bliss, Jeffrey Bodine, Joe Nemechek, and the rest of the drivers. Stay with us here in Atlanta.
These renegades play hard and dirty.
Vicious crash on the front straightaway.
This is racing on the Ragged Edge.
Car upside down hard, big time crash.
The World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series Knoxville Nationals. Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Only on Speed. Eastern on Speed.
Relationships fail. Systems fail. Failure is part of life. Fram filters are tested beyond any conditions you'll ever encounter to help make sure failure is not part of your engine's life. Fram, don't fail your engine.
As City Financial, we were always there to help our customers with personalized loan solutions. Now, as One Main Financial, that commitment remains the same. How do I know? I work there. And I live here.
Are you ready to save up to 95% on what you want most? Then try Quibids.com, an exciting new way to shop for products like iPads, MacBooks, HDTVs, cameras, appliances, and more. Imagine getting a new Apple iPad today for just $23.74. Or how about a Samsung 50-inch TV for as little as $84.95? Or a brand new Honda Civic for $1,800. On Quibids, deals like this happen every day. Quibids is a unique auction website. Each auction starts at 0. When someone places a bid, the price increases by as little as 1 cent. The result is insanely low prices. On Quibids, you can save up to 95% off retail.
I got a MacBook Pro laptop for $67.
Stop everything and visit Quibids.com right now. Enter the promo code below to receive 10 free bids. That's Quibids.com. Go to Quibids.com now.
Speed's presentation of NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying from Atlanta is brought to you by KFC Popcorn Chicken. Today tastes so good. And by Just for Men Hair Color. Live forward. 3 drivers have qualified. David Starr the quickest. And Mike Bliss up next. 8 Cup starts here at Atlanta for Bliss.
Terry Labonte drove for this 32 team at Bristol last week. Mike Bliss was actually in the number 51 James Finch car, a lot like David Starr, way up the racetrack, late exit of turn 4.
They just get in these corners so hard. Really good lap. They just get in these corners so hard and pick the throttle back up. The car never has a chance to change direction sometimes, and it makes you just run out of room on the exit. He just run 1 lap right there.
Well, he's a driver. He's the first driver to go that's actually locked in the top 35, so understandable.
Talked about Jeffrey Bodine. He's out next, and we go to Wendy.
Well, thank you, Steve. And Casey Mears is just debriefing with his team right now. Casey, you're going out early in this qualifying session, I should say. How did you relate from practice and want to get a good qualifying effort for your race car? How challenging has that been today?
We've really struggled here. I mean, talking across the board, a lot of guys are having trouble with the grip the racetrack had in the heat of the day. And it's typically like that here, but it was a little bit more than normal for us. So we've been working real hard with the guy Cote to try and get it right. I thought they were looking out for us there for a while. That nice cloud was in, and now it's moving out of the way. So we're going to go out and do the best job we can. We didn't do a qualifying run in that last practice, just trying to get race trim right. And so we threw a guess at it here, and we'll see how we end up.
As if I haven't plugged the charity race enough, your wife is racing. Does that mean you're helping her? Are you her coach?
I'm looking forward to it. She's always talked about how she wants to race something. She's always wanting to get in the car, and now that she's learned more about the sport over the last couple of years, she gives me some tips and pointers sometimes when I get out of the car. So I'm looking forward to it. All you girls should have a real good time benefiting MRO and Speedway Children's Charities, and hopefully that race before Charlotte, you guys can have a good time.
I know, I hope so. Good time. That's what it's about, right? Right?
Right. We agree.
Jeffrey Bodine and the Lucan Associates Chevrolet will be followed by Joe Nemechek, Robbie Gordon, and Scott Speed.
His first lap, 31:01. That puts him third of the 4 go-homers, so he definitely has to run this second lap. You have to do it, but I don't see anyone pick up on that second lap.
No, and these guys do have to do it. Now, as you said, they can't just leave anything on the table. And even if they think they have a fairly decent first lap, they got to bust it off. But, you know, watching these guys, it's a tenth to 2/10 slower on the second lap.
Jeff Bodine ran his very first Atlanta race in 1979. How about that?
Wow.
I didn't realize he went that far back here in Atlanta.
Yeah, along with that track record, he actually has 3 poles here total.
1979.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago.
That's close to about when you came along.
I I might have run here in 79. I don't remember.
Your first race was 77 at Daytona in an
79.
What was it? 79. Okay.
Yeah.
In a Dodge Magnum.
A classic, I might add. I don't know why they don't have more of those at Barrett Jackson, to tell you the truth. I always watch speed. I always watch speed, Barrett Jackson on speed, to see if I see a Magnum. I'm waiting for one to come across. I got my bid card ready.
Now, Joe Nemechek in the 87 car, he becomes our 5th go-home driver to qualify. If you get locked in on lap 1 now, I think we'll see these guys just run the 1 lap.
Why are y'all looking at me?
I was thinking about the Dodge Magnum, and I was trying to think, how am I going to say this? It looked like a lunchbox with wheels on it.
Not even
without the handle.
But you know what? And I was just reminded. That 79 was a year that did Smokey and the Bandit come out around there? I think that was filmed at Southside Steve's. I think they were hauling beer to Southside Steve's. Wait a minute.
Hey, you know what though? Here's a true story. Glenn Jarrett told me this. That
so
Richard
does that make
Childress,
it true?
It is. That Richard Childress was about out of money, and they came to this racetrack to shoot Six-Pack with Kenny Rogers.
Kenny Rogers.
And
yes.
Richard made enough money loaning cars out for that movie that he could go race in the Daytona 500 that February.
I believe that. Man, Hollywood come to NASCAR.
Things are changed for RC.
Pay me, baby.
He'll be at Southside Steve's tonight.
Joe Nemechek locked himself in with that lap.
Oh yeah.
Sunday, NASCAR Race Day heats up Atlanta. Martin Truex Jr. and Brad Keselowski join us live. And we'll tell you if this weekend is a must-win for Smoke. NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot, Sunday at 4:30 Eastern, live on Speed.
For 125 years, Sunoco's been fueling victories on and off the track. Why? Because winning is the greatest feeling in the world.
Assembling electronic circuit board is a competitive business. Our customers have a very large pool to select from, not only in America, but they can go overseas. It is important for electricity to be affordable so that we can stay competitive. Whenever costs go up, you have to look at cutting back your labor force. I definitely care about keeping my job and keeping the roof over my head. Coal is one of America's most abundant, affordable resources. It helps create jobs.
Today, more than 6 million older Americans face the threat of hunger. In just 2 years, the number of people suffering has more than doubled. With your help, we can make this problem disappear. That's why I've teamed up with AARP and AARP Foundation in the Drive to End Hunger. Join us by visiting drivetoendhunger.org.
I will wear my heart on my sleeve and remember.
I will remember the fallen.
I will remember by being in New York.
What will you do?
What will you do this September 11th?
I'll teach my son the Pledge of Allegiance.
I will unite hundreds of blood donors.
I will help someone who needs me.
I will honor our nation's heroes.
I will help feed a child.
I will always remember what this day means. I will. Will you?
Find your own way to pay tribute at NASCAR.com/unites.
When you're racing for fans as hardcore as ours, you don't ask for respect. You take it.
6 drivers have qualified. Joe Nemechek is the quickest. As Larry said, he has locked himself in. Robbie Gordon is out next in the Speed Energy Dodge.
Well, we talked about Jeff Bodine sitting on the pole on the first race of this new configuration. Robbie Gordon, actually the spring of '97, he sat on the pole for the last race of the old configuration. It used to be a complete oval, and the front stretch is where the back stretch is now.
You know, I came very close. I was telling Kyle this yesterday. I came very close to a qualifying record here myself.
How did you do that?
I went through a driving school in 1990.
How fast did you go around this?
Well, the guy with the school said I was only about 20 miles an hour off of making the race.
Well, Robbie Gordon just ran fast enough to make the race, and he'll shut her down after lap 1. Had a 30.50, 181.7 for Robbie.
That's a good lap, man.
And Robbie's in that fight trying to claw his way back into the top 35.
Yes. And Robbie's, you know, when you watch what he does on the racetrack and away from the racetrack, his interests are so varied. If he would just focus on one thing, you would think he could do it. And he comes over and gets him back in the top 35, and then he goes and does something else. And then he comes over and gets him back in the top 35.
There's Scott Speed in the Property Masters Ford, the number 46. But you know what? Robbie does it his way.
So far, we have Robbie Gordon, Joe Nemechek that's locked in. We'll see all of our go or go home drivers in the first 16 drivers to go out and qualify. J.J. Yaley, who's in the 38 this week, he was the fastest of the go or go homers in that first practice yesterday.
I got a little info here. If you didn't know it already, Smokey and the Bandit was filmed right here in McDonough, Georgia. So naturally, we wanted to honor one of the greatest movies of all time and one of Southside Steve's personal favorites by making the bar a Smokey and the Bandit themed bar. So Southside Steve's is a Smokey and the Bandit themed bar. Yes, it is. Right here. Right here, ladies and gentlemen. So head on over to Stevie Burns, Southside Steve's.
And you know what else?
I like the Clyde Torkel chicken machine, personally.
But that bar has the largest party deck in the state of Georgia.
How about that?
You know, you're amazing me with your
and you know what else?
Local knowledge.
The bar was just raised with that 46 car of Scott Speed. He just ran about 2/10 faster than anybody's gone all day.
So
and he is locked in. Scott Speed, Robbie Gordon, Joe Nemechek, all-wheel race here tomorrow night. David Stremme up next in the Inception Motorsports Chevrolet. David has 6 Cup starts here. Best finish of 13th.
With the races that David has showed up this year, he's qualified for every one with the exception of Kentucky, and he missed the Brickyard 400 at Indianapolis a few weeks ago. But normally figures out how to pick up enough to go out and get the car into the show. I mean, that's a great shot through turn 4. I know you can look at the race car, but when you look through that windshield, those hands do not lie with what's going on with that car.
That's why, as a driver, you should wear black gloves so the other guys can't see how bad your car is working.
Yeah.
Or you wear white gloves if you want the crew chief to see how bad it's driving.
Yeah. Or if you wreck somebody, like we've seen here at Atlanta before, the guy had on white gloves and you could see that it turned right. You don't want to see that either.
I said a while ago, if you did not run at least in the 30s, that you might be in jeopardy. David Stremme's first lap, 30.88. That might not be quick enough, which is the reason he's running the second lap. It'll be to no avail because he slows down about 1/10.5. So right now, 30.88 puts him 7th of the 9 drivers.
And that locks in David Starr. Stremme will be followed by Andy Lally, Travis Quapple, Casey Mears, and Michael McDowell. You know, Hal Needham directed Smokey and the Bandit. He just released a book this year.
Yeah, you know, he was on a lot of radio stuff. Interesting Maurice Petty fact. He said never trust a man that don't have back pockets on his pants. Hal Needham never had back pockets on his pants.
And he always had a nice watch.
Just thought I'd throw that out there.
Never.
Man that doesn't carry a wallet in his back pocket, never trust that guy.
Why should you never trust him?
I don't know. You got to ask my uncle that. I'm just telling you. That's a little petty wisdom right there.
A petty nugget.
Yeah, that's a nugget. I'm glad you got pockets on your pants there, Southside.
Well, Larry keeps his secret notes in his left front trouser
Let me say
pocket.
something. Larry keeps notes everywhere.
But no, he's got notes in his shirt pocket. His secret notes are in the left front pant pocket.
But when you came and asked me what time this qualifying session starts,
you went to the left
I went
front?
straight to the notes, and I was able to tell
yes,
you, right?
Yes, you were. You had them, baby. Thank you very much.
And Kyle, when he pulls out his wallet and starts going through notes, then that means the show's almost over. It means he's packing
up. Headed to the house.
He did that one time, and I laughed so hard.
It's not a good lap for Andy Lally right there, but he's safe.
Yep, he's
safe.
locked in.
And that part of that deal is when you are safe, and he's only run 1 lap, just as Larry said in the opening here, the guys that are in are probably only going to bust off 1 lap.
Tomorrow, NASCAR race day heats up here in Atlanta. Martin Truex Jr. and Bristol winner Brad Keselowski join us live. And we'll tell you if this weekend is a must-win for Tony Stewart. Tomorrow, 4:30 Eastern on Speed.
Speed presents the greatest collector car event in the world. September 22nd. See the finest, rarest, and most incredible cars on the planet. All in one place, all up for grabs. Watch the auction live and build your dream collection. Barrett Jackson, Las Vegas, presented by Bridgestone. Live September 22nd at 4 Eastern on Speed.
It's dinner time.
You drive like my mom.
Dinner's ready.
What would you do with your favorite driver? Enter your design at toyotaracing.com.
Is your computer running slowly? Does it take more than 3 seconds for your email to load? Are you frustrated with error messages, blue screens, computer freezes, and crashes? These are not only annoying, but can cause permanent damage to your computer. If you're experiencing any of these symptoms, your computer and your privacy may be at risk, because these are usually the telltale signs of a virus, and it can only get worse until you act. Get a free diagnosis at mycleanpc.com.
My Clean PC is outstanding, and my computer is running faster than ever.
My Clean PC came through with flying colors when no one else could.
My Clean PC totally cleaned up my system and increased my speed.
MyCleanPC.com can remove spyware, viruses, and infected emails, all speeding up your PC's performance. It offers all-in-one protection, and it's been downloaded by millions of users. Even if you have antivirus software, your computer could still be infected. Find out instantly with a free comprehensive diagnosis at mycleanpc.com.
Qualifying continues for the AdvoCare 500 here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. 10 drivers have qualified. Scott Speed is the quickest. Scott Speed, Robbie Gordon, Joni Machek, and David Starr have all locked themselves in. 55 car being driven this week by Travis Kvapil.
Yeah, J.J. Yaley is actually in the 38 car, which we normally see Travis in, but because of some sponsorship things that were going on with the 38 car in J.J. Yaley, Travis Kvapil has moved over to the 55 car. We've talked about a lot of drivers that need to make something happen. And Wendy, I think you've got a report on one that truly needs something to happen good here in Atlanta.
Yeah, you know Jeff Burton wants to get a good qualifying spot. I saw you checking out the sun. How much of a difference will the sun make if it tucks behind a cloud for you?
It certainly makes a difference. I mean, the cooler the track is, the faster it should be, for sure. I pulled Kenny over to ask for some divine intervention, and he promised me, so he's on the hook.
All right, good luck to Jeff Burton, and wants God on his side with these cloud covers. I see Mike Dillon over here too. That's always interesting, guys. In a crew member shirt, we talked about it in practice.
Yeah, Mike Dillon, I think, is titled Vice President of the Competition up at Richard Childress Racing. There you see him right there, the dad of Austin and Ty Dillon. What he's going to do for the next 4 races, including here, he's going to be a crew member on each of the RCR Cup teams. In uniform, just part of the guys all weekend long.
An episode of Undercover Boss?
I guess that's what it would be.
No, I said it's like at Speed when we love to have vice presidents come into our meetings.
Yes. Have they ever been?
I don't know, but I can get away with this because one of them told me earlier that he wasn't paying attention when I said it like that. By the way, TJ Bell will not race here tomorrow night. He's been bumped out. As we watch Casey Mears.
And I'm going to tell you what, he had his hands full. Look at him right here. He had his hands full right in the middle of the corner. He hit a couple of bumps. The thing jumped out from under him, but he stayed with it. But it just never settled down. You see it bounce right there. It never settles down.
You know, the biggest thing, Kyle, and we talked about this earlier today, you and I discussed it last night, this track is just not predictable what it does when it cools down, when it gains grip. Oh, conventional wisdom, okay, she's going to cool down. It's going to tighten up. It's just not what's going on with this tire, with this track, and with this car today.
You watch him right here. He goes off into turn one. You see the thing's already hopping a little bit in the back. And he hits these 2 bumps right here, and the thing just kind of jumps. He chases it up about a quarter of a lane right there, and he's already sideways right here. And he just chases it up the racetrack. You know, and that's, you got to get your shock package right. When we get into the sharp end of the row here of the stick, and you start watching the guys that went, they don't even look like there's a bump on the racetrack a lot of times.
Kyle, when the car starts to go up the racetrack like that, how Do you have to get out of the gas? Do you gas and brake? I mean, it seems like it'd be so counter to what.
Yeah, it's definitely counter because you feel it in the front with your hands. You feel the front tires with your hands, but you're feeling that bouncing in your rear end. You're feeling it in the car and in the chassis as it goes, and you don't know how far it moves. Every time it moves up the racetrack, you don't know whether it moved an inch or 6 inches or a quarter of an inch, so you don't know how far to correct, and that's why we see these guys bounce out from under them, and they have to chase it so far up the racetrack.
Michael McDowell up next in the 66, the James Fund Toyota. Kyle, I'm also curious, at Charlotte Motor Speedway, also a mile and a half, forever I've heard Jimmy Johnson, for example, talk about the car landing when it comes off of turn one. Like he waits for the car to take a set. Does it do the same thing here? Or is this mile and a half completely different?
I think it's different. I think it's different because the corners are so big. A lot of places you run the corner, actually, when you're about 2/3 of the way around the corner, you're starting to run a straight line up off the thing. These guys never get straight. If you had a G meter on this car from the time that it went into turn one, Michael McDowell goes to the top of the heap with a 30-29. If you had a meter on your car, by the time you go in turn one till you get off turn four, you really never run a straight line.
Yeah, 24 degrees of banking. I just don't know that the transitions are that abrupt like they are at Charlotte, Texas.
On an all-new episode of The Car Show, Zach Randolph stops by to show off some of his rides. And I find out what skeletons you've stashed in your trunk. Shocking. Wednesday at 10 on Speed.
The playoffs in the sport of stock car racing are appropriately called the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. The NASCAR superstars are a special breed, driven by fast cars, raw adrenaline, and victory at all costs. These speed demons descend upon the New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the Sylvania 300 September 25th. Buckle up, New England, as your NASCAR gladiators battle for pride, glory, and the coveted Sprint Cup.
Walls can talk, but it's our job to make them say something interesting. So how about this weekend we learn some new tricks of the trade? Then break out our doing clothes and get rolling. Let's use some paint that helps us get the job done in record time and makes a statement when we're finished. Let's find ourselves a new favorite color. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Get $5 off gallon cans of our top paint brands now through September 7th only.
Downloading music can be expensive. So to save money, I've trained my dog and this cockatoo to play all the hits of the 80s. Hit it, Mr. Butters.
There's an easier way to save. Get online. Go to geico.com. Get a quote. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
You ready?
I can do this.
I'm proud of you.
Warrior. Rated PG-13. Sneak previews tomorrow, everywhere September 9th.
Dad, why are you getting that? Is there a prize in there?
There's a prize, all right.
Inside every box of Cheerios are those great-tasting little O's, made from carefully selected oats that can help lower cholesterol.
Is it a superhero?
Kinda.
Wednesday night on Speed, Dumbest Stuff on Wheels is back with an all-new cringe, including inducing episode. See more painful lessons, learn the hard way on Dumbest Stuff on Wheels. Wednesday night, 8 Eastern, only on Speed. And I said, Kyle, they should rename the show, Hey, Y'all, Watch This.
Yeah, hold my beer. I'm telling you because
that's what Larry said.
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, I can't believe some of the stuff that happens on there. Most of it is surveillance camera. That's what I like because the quality of the film is so great.
It is. Jeffrey Bodine has been bumped out when Michael McDowell took the pole position. Wendy is with Jeff Gordon.
Yes, and he's driving the Drive to End Hunger Chevy this weekend. Now, Jeff, how can you predict your race car, how it may or may not change as we continue to watch the sun peek in and out of the clouds?
Yeah, definitely be favorable to catch a cloud. There's one right now, but we'll just have to see. I don't think there's going to be a big difference in when you go out here if you catch a cloud. Our Drive to End Hunger Chevrolet's been really good in race trim, and we didn't have a great qualifying run yesterday. We actually went faster today making a qualifying run than we did yesterday. So, hopefully the speed's there and we get the balance right and we hit a good lap here. We'll see. I think we're going to see guys continue to get faster here, and they're probably going to continue to get faster after us, but hopefully we can lay down something for them.
All right, good luck to Jeff Gordon. As just as he says that, the sun comes back out.
Wendy, a good lap for Mike Skinner in the Big Red Chevrolet. He locks himself in 6th overall, and that does bump. Now, David Stremme, Jeffrey Bodine, TJ Bell all bumped.
Let me tell you about my boy Mike Skinner, though. His first lap was a 30.87. That was not going to get him in the show.
No.
He reached a little deeper. He found almost a 10th, and now he's locked in the show. That 87 was going to go to the house.
Yeah, Skinner ain't scared. No. Let's be honest. We've seen him miss a corner and go right back and miss it the second time. This time he hit it the second time, and that's a great lap for Mike.
Bob Dillner.
Michael McDowell not as scared at all to go fast. We saw what he did at Texas a few years ago, which is an unbelievable video. But how about that qualifying run? Is it what you expected?
Yeah, we had a really great car at qualifying. We got James Fund on the car, which is a Family Christian Store Foundation, and it's all about bringing awareness to the orphans and widows across the world and coming to their need and distress. And so pretty cool to have them on the car. We had a great qualifying run. Gene Need, it's his 48th birthday this weekend, so he gave me a good piece, and we went and got a big lap, so I'm really happy.
By the way, Michael's wife, Jamie, is going to go up against Wendy Venturini in the Better Half Dash at Charlotte on race day.
Thank you, Bob. Landon Castle, nicely done in the 51 car for James Finch and Phoenix Racing. 5th overall for Landon Castle. Coming up, we'll see J.J. Yaley, Jeff Burton, Regan Smith, and Dave Blaney. Landon Castle heads to the garage. J.J. Yaley in the 38. Don't ask Kyle which driver is in which front row motorsports car.
Don't have a clue. I can't keep up with them. I think every week they just rotate the numbers on peels and they draw them and then they go get in them.
Just to confuse Kyle.
Yes.
Now, J.J. Yaley, he was the fastest of the Go homers in yesterday's practice, and right as the practice started today, he actually slapped the wall with this 38 car. What he has to beat is that 30.870 that Tony Raines ran a little early. And right now he looks like he's flirting even with the front row with this 38 car if he just gets off turn 4. Lost a little bit of ground there, but it looks like definitely J.J. Yaley will race, and Tony Raines will go to the house and join David Stremme, Jeffrey Bodine, and T.J. Bell. So we know the 43 drivers that will run this race. Have no idea who's going to sit on the pole.
J.J. Yaley, 3rd overall. Nice effort for front row. Coming up, Jeff Burton, Regan Smith, and Dave Blaney. 16 of 47 drivers have taken time on the 1.5 miles here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Hope you're having a great Labor Day weekend wherever you are. Brad Keselowski will be the last driver to qualify. David Rudiman goes out shortly. We'll see his run coming up.
Sunday on Speed, NASCAR's biggest pre-race show heats up Hotlanta. NASCAR Race Day. Martin Truex Jr. and Bristol winner Brad Keselowski join us live. We'll break down BK's chances of cracking the top 10 and turning the wildcard race upside down. Plus, with the chase pressure building, we'll tell you if smoke will rise to the occasion. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, live from Atlanta, Sunday at 4:30 Eastern. And join the celebration at midnight Eastern with NASCAR Victory Lane, fueled by Sunoco on Speed.
Look, we've all dealt with the itching of athlete's foot. I can't just wash it away. Killing it takes clinical strength. I only use Lotrimin Ultra. Its powerful formula can even cure severe cases of athlete's foot. Nothing cures better. Lotrimin Ultra, the killer cure.
Emily's just starting out and on a budget, like a ramen noodle every night budget. She thought Allstate car insurance was out of her reach until she heard about the value plan. Dollar per dollar, nobody protects you like Allstate.
This guy's into camping. What about that guy?
Oh, yeah. I could definitely go for some serious romance.
Okay.
You're so beautiful.
Oh, my back! Maybe just a movie date would be nice.
Yeah. Zoosk, the online dating site that lets you date your way, whether you want to browse,
flirt, or find your soulmate. Zoosk.com.
Hi, I'm Abby Wambach, and I used my head a lot to score in this year's World Cup. I'm here to tell you how you can score the hottest money-saving device since the invention of the telephone. It's called the Magic Jack. I use it to call home every day for free, saving me hundreds of dollars. I love Magic Jack, and you will too.
Today is Saturday. 60 minutes of physical activity a day and eating well can help get your child healthy. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov. That's letsmove.gov.
Wednesday night on Speed, My Ride Rules is all new. See 4 car fanatics face off in the wildest car competition ever. Don't miss an all-new episode of My Ride Rules. Wednesday night at 9 Eastern, only on Speed. Sprint Cup Series qualifying for the AdvoCare 500. It's Jeff Burton up next.
He moves the bar to 30.27. He'll be one and done. So Jeff Burton, the fastest of the 17 drivers it's been so far.
That's 183.12 miles per hour for Jeff Burton.
Jeff finished 4th in this race a year ago.
It's hard to believe 33 starts here at Atlanta for Burton. He's never been to victory lane in the Cup Series. Let's go back to Wendy.
And walking with David Rudiman down the grid. Now, I'm probably supposed to ask about your race car, but I want to know about you dirt racing tonight against your dad.
Yeah, we're actually, after qualifying's over, we're going to jump on a plane and fly down to, they call it Bubba Motorsports Park now. It used to be Ocala Speedway. It used to be one of the tracks I raced on, and I'm going to go out there and run a modified race tonight. So concentrate on trying to get the Aaron's Dream Machine up front and get a good qualifying position. And I got to say happy birthday to Kim Butler. His birthday was yesterday, so I'm not sure how old he is, but I want to wish him happy birthday.
All right, happy birthday to Ken, and that's been the theme of the day, the magic number for that kind of stuff, Bob.
New sponsor for J.J. Yaley here this weekend in the 38 car. Fastest among the go-go homers in the first practice. You hit the wall without completing a lap in the second. You had some pressure on you.
I had a little bit of pressure. I was trying to get some TV time in final practice so you guys would get a good shot of the vamped Ford Fusion number 38. But, you know, the racetrack just didn't have the grip in practice. I drove down there, never had a chance of making it. Luckily, the wall stopped me, or I'd been somewhere, I don't know, maybe in Florida. But I think finally, by the time it turned. But we made a ton of changes. You know, these guys worked really, really hard in practice. And I felt bad that I made them work so hard. But I know Jay Guy said he sweated more places he's ever sweated in his life. So maybe he's going to go on a diet now. I'm not sure. But the lap was pretty good. Just a little bit too positive to really push it. But I think we got a pretty good race car.
Interesting analogy there.
A lot of information there, Bob. Regan Smith in the 78 has bumped Jeff Burton, get this, boys, 0.005 of a second.
Yeah, and you know, Regan started off so strong as far as his qualifying efforts. He has 10 top 10 starts this year, but only has 1 in the last 14 races of 2011. Not sure if that right there will even stay in the top 10.
Dave Blaney in the Collective Soul Golden Corral Chevrolet. It's quite a combo.
Like right now, Dave's flirting with right inside the top 10 with his 36 car. In fact, he'll end up 8th at a 35.56. You know, of all the races that Dave Blaney has run, we always, even 10 years later, go back to that spring race of 2001 when he pretty much was absolutely wearing the field out, and a wheel just ran off literally after a pit stop.
Yeah, incredible.
Driving for Bill Davis.
Driving for Bill Davis. And he was up at the top of the racetrack and just gone.
Led 70 laps that day. Speaking of running well at Atlanta, how about Bobby Labonte? What's he have, 6 wins here?
He does.
This is where names are engraved not just in metal, but in history. This is the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. This is why we drive.
I had a dream last night. I dreamt that I was swimming in the stars up above, directionless and drifting. Time, love, time, love, time, love. It's only a change of time.
It's good to be back to football.
Experiments fail. Technologies fail. Failure is part of life. Fram filters are tested beyond any conditions you'll ever encounter to help make sure failure is not part of your engine's life. Fram, don't fail your engine.
And you can even pick your payment date for the loan. You do that? I do.
Ready, Daddy?
Yes. City Financial is now One Main Financial. Personalized loan solutions that still focus on you.
Hi, I'm Abby Wambach, and I used my head a lot to score in this year's World Cup. I'm here to tell you how you can score the hottest money-saving device since the invention of the telephone. It's called the Magic Jack. I use it to call home every day for free, saving me hundreds of dollars. I love Magic Jack, and you will too.
Are you tired of check cashing fees? Bounce checks and overdraft fees driving you crazy? Introducing the Account Now prepaid Visa card. Account Now provides the perfect alternative to a checking account without the hassles and hidden overdraft or bounce check fees.
Before I found Account Now, payday was a major hassle.
With Account Now, I don't have to worry about overdraft fees.
With 100% approval and no credit check, call Account Now today.
Call 1-800-835-7058.
Today is Saturday. 60 minutes of physical activity a day and eating well can help get your child healthy. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov. That's letsmove.gov.
Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, next driver up is David Gilliland in the A&W Root Beer Ford. David, the 20th of 47 drivers to qualify here on this lightning quick mile and a half.
Mid-pack right now with that first lap at a 30.67 for David. Puts him 9th quickest.
David will be followed by Dale Earnhardt Jr., who just signed that 5-year contract extension at Hendrick Motorsports. Jeff Gordon, Kevin Harvick, David Rudiman, then Dale Earnhardt Jr.
David Gilliland, he's going to go ahead and run this second lap. He will slow down a little bit, about a half of a tenth to 30.71. So right now, David 9th quickest.
Regan Smith with the quickest lap, 30.27 seconds, 183.15 miles per hour, Bob.
Well, Regan Smith climbed out of the car. He's fastest so far, and you said, well, it's not going to be the pole, so what's it going to be?
I don't know. We've really struggled qualifying here. This is one track where I've not got a line or marks that I'm real comfortable with. And yesterday was no different. We struggled yesterday. The car in race trim was really good today. I was really happy with it in race trim. So anything, I said yesterday, anything inside the top 30 we'd be happy with it. But hopefully it ends up around 20th or something like that. Nonetheless, Farm America on the car this weekend. Again, excited about that. We're trying to, just bring attention to the importance of keeping food grown in America. And excited to have those guys on the car and Agriculture Liquid Fertilizer helping out with that.
Easy for him to say.
You got it all in there, Bob. Well, Jeff Gordon, 37 Cup starts, made his very first start here in the fall of 1992. 4 wins, 2 poles, and he's led over 1,100 laps.
All I know is he has run a lot of laps in these 2 practices we've had here. Is he'll go to the top of the chart at a 29.84, first driver to run in the 29s. But for all the fantasy racers out there, I know Jeff Gordon has been really happy with his race car and race trim these last 2 practices.
Yeah, and last 2 practices, how about the last 3 or 4 races?
Last dozen races,
yeah. And if you just look at those finishes, I think it's reflected in that. I think these guys have hit their stride at just the right time.
I'm happy with that. Good job. Yeah, 10-4.
You can just hear the...
pretty, but it never is around this place. Had good things and bad things happen. Talk to you about when you get in there. Good job, guys.
Just saw Jeff Gordon got a fortuitous cloud. And want to remind you that following NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying, Adam Alexander in Speed Center back in Charlotte, North Carolina. Kevin Harvick up next.
I'll tell you, Kevin's car didn't look too bad. And, in the practice yesterday, he only run 4 laps in the first 45 minutes of practice. They rebuilt that thing, and that was a pretty good turn 1 for him.
But he got pretty happy with this race car in that hour-and-a-half practice today, and this is going to be a good run for him. He didn't feel like he was going to qualify that good, but feels good about his car and race trim right now. 30.16 puts him 2nd right behind Jeff Gordon.
And as Larry said, Jeff Gordon, the only driver of the 22 who has run a sub-30-second lap at a 29.84.
And Jeff Gordon and Kevin Harvick, including Kyle Busch right here, they have clinched the chase. What do they need? More wins for more bonus points.
On an all-new episode of The Car Show,
NBA All-Star Zach Randolph stops by to show off some of his rides. Matt goes to town at the Ford Proving Grounds.
That was a high-quality rug.
And I find out what skeletons you've stashed in your trunk. What do we got in the trunk? A walking stick.
Yes.
Although you don't look like you do a lot of walking. If it's got 4 wheels and an engine, we got you covered. Wednesday at 10 on Speed.
September 16th, the action revs up in Chicago as the world's roughest truckers go wide open in the Windy City.
Oh, sideways!
Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series from Chicago, September 16th at 7:30 Eastern, live on Speed.
Hi. I'm doing my back-to-school shopping, and I saw another store's ad for these crayons at a lower price.
No problem. I can match that right here.
Oops, I don't have the ad.
You don't need it.
Oh. What about a coupon for these pens?
Yeah, easy.
Why does the glue not stick to the glue stick?
Well, it's very complicated, but it has to do with oxygen.
I knew that.
We're so confident in our low prices every day on everything for back to school, we back it with our easy ad match guarantee. Get men's boxer briefs and tees for just $7.97 each. Save money. Live better. Walmart.
Still at the office? Man, you need a vacay. Don't have to go far for fun. Ride a dune buggy or scuba diving? Pow! I make it easy. You make it fun. So many super destinations, such low rates.
When you come to CarQuest, you'll find the quality parts you need and the service you deserve, along with the peace of mind that you've come to a place you can trust, where our people are happy to share their expertise to help you get it right. Whether you're a Saturday superstar or one of our many professional customers, when you deal with any of our 3,000 CarQuest stores, you'll discover an experience as exceptional as our products, plus the satisfaction that comes with a job well done. Great products, great prices, and something more at CarQuest Auto Parts.
Great things can come out of sweat. So don't let odor stop you. Gillette Odor Shield turns odor into freshness.
David Rudiman in the 0-0 up next. He'll be followed by Dale Earnhardt Jr., Marcus Ambrose, and Bobby Labonte. Rudiman with 7 Cup starts here in Atlanta. Best finish of 4th. Let's not forget his 2 wins came on 1.5 miles. First one at the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and then again Chicagoland.
In the one bright light of 2011 happened at a 1.5 mile racetrack, that second place finish at Kentucky a few weeks ago. His only top 5 finish of 2011.
They were the fastest car at the end of Kentucky. If you go back, he was coming. I mean, the way that racetrack played out, the way it played out for him, that's one of those places, been 10 more laps, he was the guy.
Yes, definitely. And I think Kyle Busch knew it.
Yeah.
He is dead on 30.000, second quickest, right between Jeff Gordon and Kevin Harvick.
30 flat comes out to 184.800 miles per hour. You know, it's funny too, Kyle and Larry, as we look at Jeff Gordon, in the confines of this racetrack, everybody talks in terms of tenths. You know, he ran a 14. But the reason I keep saying miles per hour is it's amazing how fast this racetrack is. 185.73 miles per hour for Jeff Gordon as we take a look at Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Well, Steve, you mentioned it a little while ago, just signed a new 5-year deal with Hendrick Motorsports, takes him through 2017. 2017 will be his 18th full-time season in Sprint Cup.
See how he does. He got pretty quick in that second practice earlier today. 2 poles and a win here at Atlanta for Dale Earnhardt Jr.
He's going to be about a half a second off of what Jeff Gordon ran, puts him 7th quickest at a 30.31. He'll shut her down.
Kyle, you think he'll be happy with that lap?
Yeah, I think he'll be happy with it. Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. These guys didn't work on qualifying stuff. It's been documented and all this stuff. I think he'll be content with it for right now. You look at where he's at. He's in the top third of the cars that have gone. We've had half the field go. If you look at it that way, he should be somewhere in the top half of the field. If he can stay in that top 20 or 25, that's pretty much where he's been qualifying all year long. He's had some bright spots, but week in and week out, he's 23rd, 24th, 25th.
You know, Steve, I don't like getting too deep in the numbers, but when you talk about qualifying here, you talked about it at the top of the show, 103 previous races here. 59 of those races from a top 5 starting spot, only 7 won from a starting position outside the top 20.
Take a look at Marcus Ambrose's most recent 3 qualifying starts. Of course, he won the race at Watkins Glen, which means he's one of 4 drivers eligible to win the Sprint Summer Showdown here Sunday night. $3 million up for grabs if one of those 4 drivers who have won previous 5 races, including Brad Keselowski and Paul Menard, can win here Sunday night. So $1 million to the driver, $1 million to a charity, and $1 million split between 2 fans if one of those guys can win.
Well, he got a pretty good start on it because he's 3rd quickest. He becomes the fastest forward. But when I think about those 4 drivers, so much more at stake for Marcus Ambrose and especially Paul Menard. That's 2 of the drivers that has 1 win trying to get a wild card spot.
Marcus Ambrose turned 35 this week. The Rocket. He is always fast here in Atlanta. Coming up.
This month, experience a bold new vision of mankind's future 85 million years in the past.
Welcome to Terra Nova, folks. Welcome home.
Terra Nova launches this month on Fox.
For 125 years, Sunoco's been fueling victories on and off the track. Why? Because winning is the greatest feeling in the world.
Oh, Rudy, you're so nice to me.
Well, no more Mr. Nice Guy.
Oh, and you're funny too, that's cute.
Mike, there's nothing funny about it. I'm the new Aaron spokesperson now, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Did you empty my bedpan? Hey.
I'm the man.
Yeah, Mr. Butler's here, come on.
Okay.
You stand right here behind me, the official Aaron spokesperson, handpicked by Mr. Ken Butler.
What a suck up.
Action. Remember, when you want a guaranteed low price on brand name furniture, electronics, appliances, and computers,
you don't need credit. All you need is Aaron's.
We bring news of a new tea that fits like no other.
Wear them well.
We ride!
Through turn 1, it's still Petty.
Petty wins the Southeastern 500.
This is how a young man was crowned a king. And a kid from Dawsonville finally lived up to his nickname. This is when we discovered just how high smoke can rise. It's where family traditions get started, and other traditions get taken in a whole new direction.
Taking a backwards lap.
This is where names are engraved, not just in metal, but in history.
Wednesday night, the car show is all new and a can't miss as Matt Farah goes wild at the Ford Proving Grounds and Adam Carolla takes a look at the skeletons you have hiding in your trunk. Don't miss the car show Wednesday night, 10 Eastern, only on Speed. 26 of 47 drivers have qualified. Bobby Labonte, a 6-time winner here at AMS, 5th overall in his Kingsford Toyota.
You know, Steve, in case I have not mentioned this, I know this is our last show of the weekend. It's good to have you back hanging out with us at the racetrack.
Fun to be back.
What a phenomenal job you're doing with NASCAR Race Hub. And I think starting Monday, September the 12th, a little new time slot for Race Hub. It's going to come on at 6 p.m. Eastern Time and a re-air at 8 o'clock the next morning. Yep. And the other thing I really like, Kyle, that Speed has done is starting with the chase at Chicago, NASCAR Victory Lane is going to come on as soon as the race broadcast is over. So you won't have to wait till 8 o'clock. Did you even know that?
No. Am I on that show?
You are.
Hey,
I'm on that show.
Kyle, before we came on the air, I have to tell this. Kyle said, I hope this is the last show I do tonight. He's not even sure. He's going to finish qualifying, then look at his cell phone and see if he has anything else to do for Speed.
I think his fun meter is pegged.
He's about TV'd out.
I am
He's
TV.
still bitter for sitting out in the heat yesterday doing rehearsal. Joey Logano's 6th overall. Joey
good.
Logano's 6th, 30.23 seconds, 183.382.
Joey making his 100th career start at a track you would almost say is his home track. Spent a lot of time living here in the Atlanta area. Ran Bandoleros and Legends on this quarter mile for a number of years here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Kyle, there was a great picture on trackside of Joey Logano, Reed Sorensen, and David Reagan. That was a great picture.
It is a great picture, you know, and David, it's hard to believe David Reagan talking about Joey Logano being the young one, you know what I mean? And they're all standing there together now. And then there was another picture of them. There was a photo of them when they were running the Legends cars, and then a photo of them today. It's pretty phenomenal. And it's only been 8 or 10 years. I mean, you'd think they grew up together. I mean, it was really cool.
Kurt Busch up next, and we go to Bob Diltner.
Marcus Ambrose, third quick so far. You climbed out of the car, you look to the sky. Were you looking for a little sun right now?
Yeah, I'm still looking for the sun. It's all going away on us. We got a little bit of the shade, which is good, but you know, we don't want it to get too cool here because this track is so temperature sensitive. You know, we're really looking to start decent for Sunday night, give ourselves a chance to win the $3 million.
He's down to fourth now, but Steve, he's been awfully good on mile-and-a-half racetracks this year.
Bob, Kurt Busch just laid up a good number, 29.915 seconds, 185.325 in the Shell Dodge. Second overall, Tony Stewart needs a good run. We'll see what he has coming up.
Sunday, NASCAR race day heats up Hotlanta. Martin Truex Jr. and Brad Keselowski join us live. And we'll tell you if this weekend is a must-win for Smoke. NASCAR race day built by the Home Depot, Sunday at 4:30 Eastern, live on Speed.
Walls can talk, but it's our job to make them say something interesting. So how about this weekend we learn some new tricks of the trade? Then break out our doing clothes and get rolling. Let's use some paint that helps us get the job done in record time and makes a statement when we're finished. Let's find ourselves a new favorite color. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Get $5 off gallon cans of our top paint brands now through September 7th only.
Dad, why are you getting that? Is there a prize in there?
There's a prize, all right.
Inside every box of Cheerios are those great-tasting little O's, made from carefully selected oats that can help lower cholesterol.
Is it a superhero?
Kinda.
Still at the office? Man, you need a vacay. Don't have to go far for fun. Ride a dune buggy or scuba diving? Pow! I make it easy. You make it fun. So many super destinations, such low rates.
This is a public announcement. CNNMoney.com reports that in some areas of the country, buyers are scooping up homes for as little as $1,000. Foreclosures are at an all-time high. Government and private banks are liquidating these homes now. If you currently rent a house or apartment, you may call now and learn how to receive your free list of these homes. All others may call tomorrow. Every house must be sold. This is a public announcement.
Call 1-800-929-0938, 1-800-929-0938. Call now.
Hi, I'm Abby Wambach, and I used my head a lot to score in this year's World Cup. I'm here to tell you how you can score the hottest money-saving device since the invention of the telephone. It's called the Magic Jack. I use it to call home every day for free, saving me hundreds of dollars. I love Magic Jack, and you will too.
Today is Saturday. 60 minutes of physical activity a day and eating well can help get your child healthy. Get ideas. Get involved. Get going at letsmove.gov. That's letsmove.gov.
Jeff Gordon has the fastest lap here in Sprint Cup Series qualifying on the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Kyle Busch, your points leader, who has a win here. Best start of second. Came in March of last year.
He's about halfway through turn 3 and 4, and he is about a 1/10 and a half better than Jeff Gordon. You can see it with the little blue numbers there in the little blue box, rather. Lost a little bit of ground, late exit of turn 4, but it'll be good enough by 1/100th of a second, 29.83 for Kyle Busch.
185.841 miles per hour in the pedigreed Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing.
And that was a great lap, but he was on a well of a lap, but he lost a little bit of ground, which we've seen almost every driver do. Late exit on the front straightaway off turn 4.
Kyle's going to be followed by Paul Menard, Jamie McMurray, and Ryan Newman. 29 drivers have qualified. You know, Menard, I can remember in his rookie year here, I mean, Back in 2006, he started 22nd, finished 7th, and I remember working his pits that day, Larry, for NASCAR on Fox. They never adjusted on that car. Paul just likes the mile-and-a-half tracks. He finished 7th that day, and always runs well on the mile-and-a-half.
Yeah, he finished 5th here in the spring race of last year, and actually that race you're talking about, Steve, that was his 3rd career Sprint Cup Series start, but his first start on an oval in Sprint Cup Series. His first 2 was on road courses.
You know, that's funny because when we went to Watkins Glen, I don't think about Menard being a road racer, but he's a very good road racer. And I think a lot of people forget that as he runs this schedule. When we start talking about road course people, they never mention his names, but he's really good.
They don't, but I believe it was Andy Petrie who gave Paul Menard his first couple of starts, and it was on a road course. 7th overall for Paul Menard at a 30-18. 183.680.
Yeah, just behind his teammate Kevin Harvick, who's still hanging in the 6th position.
Here you see Kyle Busch. He's the quickest thus far. 30 of 47 have taken time. Jamie McMurray's best start here is 3rd. You see his 3 most recent qualifying efforts. 2 top 10s, 10th at Michigan, 6th at Bristol.
I think more impressive was the finish they ended up getting at Bristol. They just kept getting better and better as the night went on, ended up getting a top 5 finish, finishing 5th. And he's actually running in the NASCAR Nationwide Series race a little bit later on the night for Junior Motorsports in the 7 car, which he has a couple of wins here in the Nationwide Series.
Woo! Well, he got skating coming off the
He did not get out of the gas. And the good thing is it was so far up the straightaway, he didn't lose a lot of ground. Now, if he was coming to take the green, it would have been big. It would have been real big.
That could have been big.
Tell you what, we've got some real studs coming up. Ryan Newman, Carl Edwards, and Tony Stewart. You see Juan Pablo Montoya, and I'll remind you that on September 22nd, Barrett Jackson, the collector car event that makes automotive dreams come true, returns to Sin City. See the finest, rarest, and most amazing cars on the planet, all in one place and up for grabs. Live from Vegas, September 22nd at 4 Eastern on Speed.
On board with Mike Conway, who's currently 2nd quick, showing some new colors on that machine this weekend, pulling into his pit stall.
Yeah, Mike's been fast all weekend.
Yeah.
Very good car.
Matter of fact, he was 18th overall in the practice period. So this shouldn't be a very long caution. In fact, I believe the green is back out as Sato is moving once again, so the clock continues to run here.
How easy it is to save.
Those looking to get in include Mira, Kimball, Plowman, Beatrice, Schechter, Saavedra, Sato, and Serbia. As we follow Elio Castroneves, who's currently 5th.
Elio, you got time for one good lap, one hard lap.
And just watch the time.
Ultra, the killer.
Not the start finish, but the timing line where they start that before time expires. So he'll get there easily because this is turn 2, and it's just after turn 4 where the timing line. But anyone who doesn't make it to that timing line before time expires will not even have a shot at doing that lap.
I'm glad Bob's happy.
Hi there.
Just for men, live forward.
Relationships fail.
Okay, everybody on track now will get a guaranteed 1 lap. Elio does not have a pole this year. He has 2 second-place starts in Milwaukee and last weekend at Sonoma, but no pole position for Elio, although he has 29 in his IZOD IndyCar Series career.
Got him a couple of poles this year, along with that dominant win up at Loudon a few weeks ago, and then sat on the pole at Bristol last week.
I'm going to tell you, there was a time, you talk about Baker and you talk about, there was a time when he rolled out in that Penske car to go to qualifying, everybody went to pit road to watch and see if he was going to make it back. And when he made it back, he was always on a pole.
Yeah, it wasn't a matter, was he going to sit on the pole? How much faster than the second place driver was he going to be?
And during that period of time, it was incredibly competitive. And that's a really good lap for him. It's a 29.88, really good lap within about 5/100ths of what the pole is right now. But, I mean, there was just that period of time there where you knew that was it.
Yeah, we've had 4 drivers running the 29-second bracket so far.
Well, Bob Dillner standing by with the driver who's currently P1.
And his brother Kurt Busch just walked over, and they're chatting about what happened during their qualifying laps. Dave Rogers here as well. See if we can get a word with Kyle here. Kyle, a good lap, but the boys in the booth were saying it was really good until turn 4. What happened?
I just got way too loose through 4. I felt it coming up to speed there, you know, on my giddy up, and it was money in 1 and 2. 1 and 2 was really good. A little loose down there, but not bad. And then got into 3 and said, all right, just get it to the bottom, and then when you get it to the bottom, be slow at the throttle, because that's what it needed down there in 1 and 2. And it never held. It never wanted to hold. So I don't know that it'll hold up. I was definitely, you know, fighting it pretty bad on the exit there. So if the 11 can hit it right and you know, get through 4, that's where I lost it last year. He should have a chance at beating me here this time.
Steve, I like that though. The giddy up lap.
That's it, Bob. His giddy up good enough for the pole position, 29.832. Carl Edwards' record here is pretty sporty. He's got 3 wins. He's finished in the top 3 7 times. He's also on the pole for tonight's NASCAR Nationwide Series race.
Carl, another one of those drivers that's already clinched a spot in the chase. Carl has now made the chase 6 out of his 7 seasons, full-time on Sprint Cup.
Tony Stewart, a 3-time winner here at AMS. Started from the pole once, but that was when qualifying was rained out. Started by points.
This is a driver that we have watched closely for these last 2 days. We know how much Tony Stewart needs to win a race. This was the race a year ago. He got his first win of 2010. And we just felt like with them coming back here, Goodyear bringing the same tire from last year, this could be where he's competitive at least.
Yeah, he lost a little bit right up off 4 right there, just maybe a position or 2. But, I mean, his old car looked pretty good.
8th overall for Tony Stewart. Sprint brings you an inside look at what's happening now inside the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Tony Stewart's lap, 30.14 seconds, 183.899 miles per hour. For more NASCAR stats, in-car audio, and live race radio, check out NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile at sprint.com/speed. More qualifying from Atlanta. Stay with us.
Speed presents the greatest collector car event in the world. See the finest, rarest, and most incredible car
at a great price. Don't just change your
Barrett Jackson, Las Vegas, live September 22nd at 4 Eastern on Speed.
I ate breakfast and got heartburn. 3rd day this week, so I took my heartburn pill and some antacids. We're having Mexican tonight, so another pill then? Unless we eat later, then pill later. If I get a snack now, pill now. Skip the snack, pill later. Late dinner, pill now? I have got heartburn in my head.
Stop the
Have made a qualifying attempt. David Reagan is up next for Roush Fenway Racing in the UPS Ford.
It's pretty much a home track for David Reagan, nearby Unadilla, Georgia, about 90 miles here from the racetrack.
The Thriller from Unadilla.
And he ends up 8th quickest right now at a 30-12, right behind Marcus Ambrose, just in front of Tony Stewart.
You know, people don't realize, Kyle, you and I always talk about, you know, guys that used to race. His dad, Ken Reagan.
Yes.
I mean, he never ran the full schedule, but he was a pretty.
And he was talking about it the other night. I mean, talking with David last night about it. You know, how his dad would just put together enough money to run 10 or 12 races, and that's when you could come in the Cup and run 10 or 12 races. And was a pretty good race car driver. Broke his neck.
At Talladega, I believe.
Here's these pictures. Look at that. It's David on the left, Reed Sorensen in the middle, and Joey Logano as the short one on the right of your screen, and here's Joey as the tallest one.
And Reed's holding the picture. That's great.
Yeah, that is a cool shot.
That is a great photo.
Yeah.
But I think the quote of the weekend was when Joey Logano asked Jeff Hammond on trackside, "Is that T-shirt a medium?"
That could. Joey's funny, man. Joey's a funny guy.
He snuck that in on Hammond, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Would the small with a medium look like a smedium?
I can't believe you brought that up.
I can. Kyle, we take shots at Hammond whenever we can.
Especially when he's not listening.
Or here.
Oh boy, Matt Kenseth, how about this? Quickest Ford, 3rd quickest in this 17 car. I think this could be, not to say Matt Kenseth is a sleeper, he has 2 wins already this year, but I think he could be laying in the weeds for this 500-mile race tomorrow night.
I think he's laying in the weeds for the chase. I'm going to tell you that, because he just keeps, if we go back, we keep talking about Jeff the last 5 or 6 races. Let's look at the 17 and Matt Kenseth's performance over those last 5 or 6 races. The qualifying effort and what they're doing finish-wise and on the racetrack. They've been in contention to win 2 or 3 of the last 4 or 5 races.
Let's go to Bob Dillner.
Carl Edwards, I've been trying to read your facial expression. You've been watching the cars out there, watching your teammate Matt Kenseth, and you look a little bit inquisitive about what's going on. What do you think?
Well, I was watching his line. You know, it's hard to decide where to run on this racetrack. It's so wide, there's so much grip all over, but he beat us. And I think that we're going to see some really good times coming up. I think, you know, this track's cooling off, and I hope we can hold on for a top 7 or 8 starting position. It's a long enough race. We got a fast Aflac Fusion, so you know, we want to get to victory lane, get the word out about raising money for that Aflac Cancer Center. And if people want to help, they can go to aflac.com/friends, and Aflac's going to double any donation. So the goal is $2 million this month, and I just hope we can get them to victory lane, spread the word.
Awesome cause.
Bob Watt, Pablo Montoya, 7th overall. In fact, Carl Edwards running a special paint scheme called Friends of a Feather to help raise awareness for the Aflac Cancer Center.
And special facial hair.
He was sporting a Kyle Petty look.
What's up with that?
Oh, it's
fresh. You don't have to go to extreme measures to get better mileage.
For more car maintenance tips and to enter the Extreme Measure sweepstakes, visit NASCAR.com/auto.
Hi. I'm doing my back-to-school shopping, and I saw another store's ad for these crayons at a lower price.
No problem. I can match that right here.
Oops, I don't have the ad.
You don't need it.
Oh. What about a coupon for these pens?
Yeah, easy.
Why does the glue not stick to the glue stick?
Well, it's very complicated, but it has to do with oxygen.
Izod IndyCar Series. And nobody else has more than 2. He has dominated as far as qualifying is concerned, but still finds himself 26 points behind the points leader as the championship is drawing to a close. Dario Franchitti, of course, is the leader of the championship. And here is Scott Dixon, Franchitti's teammate. Scott is currently 9th out of 12.
And you may have seen Will Power's time just change. He's at a 120, almost flat. He took 0.4 of a second out on that lap. That was a great lap.
Graham Rahal to 2nd spot.
Sebastian Bourdais has good splits. He could move to 3rd.
Yep. Bourdais in. Franchitti out as of this moment. So Dixon right now.
Of course, now Will Power turned red, meaning he pulled onto pit road. And with a time like that, he's got to feel very safe. Franchitti splits. He could move up to 3rd. again, so much has to do. That wasn't a fantastic turn 3, and that's the final corner. Well, I mean, you consider turn 4 here as well, but this is the timing line he crosses right there.
Participating Polaris D.
3 being slightly wide cost him 1 position.
Mike Conway is currently 8th fastest in this session. Needs to move up a couple of positions to transfer.
Still the guy to beat at a 29.832, 185.841 miles per hour. Casey Kane won here from the pole back in 2006, led 85 laps that day.
This is the fast 10. This will be the fastest 10 drivers from practice. You know, a lot of sporting events going on here in Atlanta this weekend. Of course, we've got the triple header here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Casey actually threw out the first pitch at the Atlanta Braves-Washington Nationals games at Turner Field on Thursday night.
And he just bumped Kyle Busch from the pole.
He did. At a 29.77, we have now had a driver top 186 miles per hour.
And I think he just threw out the first pitch here. We're getting into the top 10 here on who's going to be the guy. And that's the first, I think that's the first lob across the plate to say, okay, we're going to pick it up.
He didn't bounce the pitch, did he?
I heard it was actually a pretty decent pitch, was the word.
Jimmy Johnson threw a nice one at Wrigley Field, did not bounce it.
And he did call it Wrigley Field, not Wrigley Stadium.
Correct.
Did you see that shot of Denny right there looking up? I think he was looking for Southside Steve's banner right there.
Yes.
See what there he is, looking at it.
Yep.
There he is.
He found it. He found it.
He got it. He got it.
Drink specials. There it is.
There it is again.
Biggest party deck in the state of Georgia.
I like the end. Yeah, come on.
Come on.
Come on. All right, 5-time. What you got? Jimmy Johnson is up next. He's still mad. We just saw Carl Edwards. Jimmy's still mad about getting beat here in 2005 by Carl.
Yes, he is.
On the last corner.
But he still has those 3 wins here. Another driver that has clinched a spot in the chase. And on Wednesday, Jimmy and several other drivers, including also Brian France, are going to visit the White House as pretty much President Obama honors Jimmy Johnson in his 2010 Sprint Cup Series championship.
Yeah, and I want to say something, okay? Because people on Twitter have gone crazy over some of this stuff, thinking there's political motivation on why some of these drivers have not chosen to go, why some of them have kind of backed out and said, I can't go. It's a couple of different issues. A couple of these guys are right in the heat of the chase. They're focused on the chase. They're focused on what they're doing. And the other thing is the scheduling. The scheduling is so quick. I mean, all of a sudden they pop up on a Tuesday and say, hey, you want to come next Wednesday? Sometimes these guys, their schedules work 6 and 8 weeks out. Yeah. There's no political motivation on why these guys turn down the opportunity to go.
And it's not disrespectful. Look, Casey Kane here at the Speedway, 9-4.
That was last year. He's the 4 this year.
Yes.
But yeah, you're right, Kyle, because I know, for instance, Greg Biffle has a huge thing with 3M on Wednesday.
Exactly. So it's crazy how people want to make something out of nothing, and they're trying to make something out of that.
Bob Dillner.
Casey Kane and I just talking about what could have made that lap even better. What would it have been?
Well, it took me a little bit too long to get to the white line on entry. It's a little on the tight side, but I had really good forward drive. So I didn't have to use the exit of the corner as much, but I feel like I killed my lap a little bit getting to the bottom. So if that can be in the top 5, that'd be great. It'd be a good spot for our Red Bull Toyota.
Casey Kane trying to put this car into victory lane.
And a good lap there by AJ.
Yeah.
I think that's a good lap for RPM and for him to put that Best Buy cars up there in that area right now.
8th overall for AJ. Want to mention also Jimmy Johnson was 11th. Clint Boyer, another driver needing a big run here tomorrow night.
Here on Versus. And before that, of course, we have the Firestone Indy Lights race, a full afternoon of racing beginning at 12 noon Eastern Time here on Versus. Stay with us for round number 3.
Vacay. Don't have to go far for fun. Ride a dune buggy or scuba diving. Pow! I make it easy to their victory.
to compensation. We're standing by to take your call in confidence. Call 1-800-249-0595. Don't delay. That's 1-800-249-0595.
Casey Kane is now the man atop the scoring pylon in that number 4 Red Bull Toyota. Just a handful of drivers left. First one up to try to make a run at Casey Kane is Greg Biffle in the 3M Ford Fusion.
And this is one of the drivers I think that I was referencing at the top of the show. When you look at his last 3 races, his best finish was 20th at Michigan after sitting on the pole and leading almost the entire first half of that race. He's fallen to 16th in the points, still looking for that first win of 2011.
You know, his season's sort of reminiscent of Denny Hamlin's. They've tried different things. They just can't find what they need. Close, but not what they need.
Yeah, and when they do run good, something always takes them out of it.
Lug nut, pit road speeding, something.
Let's go to Wendy.
Denny Hamlin getting ready to climb in. You watched the last few laps of these drivers. Are the lines anything you learned? And I know you're also watching those clouds.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, it makes such a big difference at this racetrack. But, you know, it's just we got what we got. Just got to thank Charter Communications for coming on this weekend. It's filling some spots for us. And proud to have them on. I think their car looks great. And it always seems like we run well during when we have different paid schemes. But just got to thank them. And hopefully we get us a good top 10 starting spot. We feel like we have a car that can contend on Sunday.
All right, well, Denny Hamlin is the second to last car to go out. Brad Keselowski will be last.
Wendy Brian Vickers is up now. Then it's Mark Martin, Martin Truex Jr., Clint Boyer, and as you mentioned, Denny Hamlin and Brad Keselowski.
Well, it's Brian Vickers' his teammate, Casey Kane, that's on the pole right now, and you can see that Brian Vickers is flirting with the top 5 right up there in the neighborhood of Casey Kane.
Going to be a good run for Brian Vickers.
It's going to be a great run for him.
He posts 3rd overall, so it's now 3 Toyotas atop the scoring pylon. Casey Kane, Kyle Busch, and Brian Vickers.
No, Brian has not raced here in a year and a half. His last race here was the spring of 2010. Actually came out of here with a 7th place finish that day.
Had to miss a good portion of last year with blood clots.
We are down now to the Fast 5. Mark Martin in this 5 car.
50 starts here at Atlanta.
Has a couple of poles and a couple of wins and 14 top 5 finishes. Halfway through this lap as he comes off turn 2, this doesn't look like the qualifying lap that Mark Martin was going to be looking for.
Both of Mark's wins came on, Kyle's talked about the older configuration of this track before they flip-flopped it.
Yeah, no speed whatsoever in this 5 car. I'm not sure he's going to crack the top 25 with this run, and he was 5th quickest in that practice yesterday. Ends up 28 at a 30-38, well over a half a second off Casey Kane. Oh, by the way, Casey Kane will be in that 5 car in 2012.
That's exactly right. We're counting them down. Truex, Boyer, Hamlin, and Keselowski, and that'll do it.
You deserve world-class emergency roadside service. Good Sam Emergency Road Service has performed over 1.5 million rescues to date. Developed and road-tested for RV owners who demand the best, we also cater to truck, motorcycle, and passenger auto owners. Good Sam does not charge extra mileage for towing your vehicle to the nearest repair facility. Call 866-GO-GOOD-SAM today and pay just $56 for the first year. That's a savings of 50%. You must act now to take advantage of this exclusive offer. 1-866-GO-GOOD-SAM. Call now.
On the road of life, there are many paths. The secret is not being afraid to pave your own. Star Motorcycles, we build it. You make it your own. And introducing the all-new Striker from Star Motorcycles. See your Yamaha dealer today.
to go into the Firestone Fast 6.
Wow, that's a good position to be in, isn't it? It's a 10-minute session, this Firestone Fast 6. And one set of tires, either primary or alternate, allowed per segment. Will's going for 7 poles, a record for most poles in a season set back in 1965 by A.J. Foyt when he was on the pole 10 times. Mario was on the pole 9 times in '66, and Danny Sullivan was on the pole 9 times in 1988. Here's Sebastian Bourdais. His best start in an Eyes on IndyCar Series race was at Toronto. He started 7th, so this will be.
Martin has a pole here back in the fall of 2009, and you look at his last 3 races, including that second-place finish at Bristol, 2 top 4 finishes for this 56 group.
I had forgotten that he made his Sprint Cup Series debut here.
What year was that?
October of 2004.
Some of these drivers, when I think about, when you think about Casey Kane and Kyle Busch, it doesn't seem right that they've been running in Sprint Cup as long as they have.
It's like Kyle said. I mean, Joey Logano's making his 100th start.
Crazy.
And that photo, they don't look like they were 10-year-olds.
Good run there from Martin.
7th overall.
He had a great run at Bristol, man. I mean,
yes, he did.
When it came time, he got to driving that thing, and Jeff said, I had a better car, but could not find my way around him.
I tell you what, the Toyota's flexing their muscles here with 3 drivers to go, and I think Bob Dillner's with one of those Toyota drivers.
That's right, Brian Vickers. A good qualifying effort, but I just asked you, are you happy? And you said,
I thought we were better than that. It was a good run. The guys, Red Bull Toyota, did a good job. Probably one of the best cars we've had in a while. Really proud of that, and I think we're going to be really good in the race tomorrow too. I guess I'm satisfied. I'm pleased, but not satisfied. How's that?
Brian Vickers looking for his first top 5 finish in Charlotte in May, guys.
Kyle, drivers are never satisfied.
No,
never.
How many guys? Very rarely in all these years have I ever seen a guy run a lap and say, that was a perfect lap. They always say, I left a little bit here, or I could have done something there.
I interviewed Mark Martin once at Bristol, and he's after qualifying.
Well, it's Mark Martin, so stop the conversation.
And he said,
there.
I don't know. I just tried so hard. I drove my guts out.
Yeah.
And I said, Mark, you're on the pole. I know, but I left something out there.
Exactly. Mark's always that way.
Yeah.
Mark's that way when he goes to dinner. I could have got here a little faster, but got some traffic.
Tried so hard.
I'd be willing to bet Clint Boyer. He's going to probably say he left a little something out there, but I think he'll be pretty happy with sitting 2nd right now behind Casey Kane at a 29.81. Clint sitting there 12th in the points, a win, and he might be in.
Yeah, and Tony's back in 18th, and really that's who these guys are racing. I mean, we can talk all this top of the heap stuff you want to, but I'm going to tell you, this is a head-to-head race against Tony Stewart and Clint Boyer, and throw Brad Keselowski in there. This is a head-to-head race for these 3 guys.
Yeah, I think as far as drivers that can get to the top 10 points-wise, probably Keselowski and Boyer mathematically are about the only ones.
Yes.
That's good analysis right there, Kyle. Yes.
Yes. I'm good.
I'm just glad he agreed with me.
Yeah. Larry didn't want me to go somewhere else. I'm really good at this stuff.
I was waiting for Kyle just to yes.
Sometimes less is more.
Well, I bet he'll also agree with me, considering Denny Hamlin was 2nd quickest in practice yesterday. He probably won't be that happy with that 13th place qualifying run. So right now, Casey Kane, only 1 more bullet to dodge.
But it's a fast
big bullet,
yeah.
Brad Keselowski.
And if we go back, though, Kyle Busch said, I think Denny's got a shot at this. Denny's got a shot at running faster than me. I felt like, he felt like that turn 4 for Kyle, he left something out there, and he really thought that Denny or a few more. He's sitting there in 3rd. Nobody's really topped what Kyle did when you start looking at it. And I think he really felt when he came in that there would be a number of guys.
Now, if you've been watching our practice sessions, I think we need to make sure and clear something up about Brad Keselowski in this 2 car. He was fastest in practice, which is the reason he's going out last. But near the end of that practice, they had an object puncture the oil pan. They elected not to change the engine. They actually pulled the engine out, took it to the NASCAR impound area, replaced the oil pan, so pretty much wherever he qualifies, he will be able to start the race. And they ran 60-something laps in that practice earlier.
So obviously they got their problem fixed. That's not going to be something that's going to raise us ahead tomorrow and say, oh, it's because we knocked a hole in the oil pan, because they've run enough now. That would have been an issue by now.
Well, right now, halfway down the back straightaway, he's not even in the top 15.
Nope.
I think Casey Kane probably can start breathing as far as this pole right here. But this goes back to what we talked about at the top of the show. I don't think anybody, not even Casey Kane, had a clue who could sit on this pole.
No.
Brad Keselowski just 14th overall in his Dodge.
So our fastest two drivers from yesterday ended up 13th and 14th, Denny Hamlin and Brad Keselowski.
And that gives the pole position to Casey Kane. And a reminder, he won from the pole here back in 2006. Tony Raines, David Stremme, Jeffrey Bodine, and T.J. Bell will not race tomorrow night.
I just think every time that these drivers have been on this track, it's been a different animal as far as the grip level and the handling characteristics of the car.
Yeah, it does. And, you know, we talked about this yesterday a little bit. It's been a year since they've been on this racetrack. So it's a little bit different for them coming back here as the technology changed. Things they thought would work last time didn't work this time, and a lot of guys were searching.
Bob Dillner.
All right, Clint Boyer on the outside of the front row. That's not a shabby place to be starting this race tomorrow night here in Atlanta.
No, it's a good start. Cheerios, Hamburger Helper Chevrolet. It's been good speed-wise, you know, all weekend long. We worried a little bit about, you know, a long run today in practice. But you can't put too much emphasis on that. It was so hot today. The track was really greasy. I mean, that's what we're trying to, you know, figure out right now is where to be with our car. You know, got a lot of work to do, a lot of homework to do.
Was he on the power early there or what? That was amazing.
Graham completing his lap.
He lost 3/10 though. I mean, he'll stay on the top.
Yep.
But Power, meanwhile, is man. He likes
he's abusing that curve, isn't he?
But while he's doing this, Will Power has got the kind of splits we expect from Will Power if he can keep it going. Remember, he was up last time and lost it in turn 3.
I mean, all it takes is one lockup too. I mean, it doesn't take much to lose that advantage that you have.
He's only 0.04 up, less than 1/10 of a second at this point on the racetrack.
Headed for turn 3.
Now it's 0.06.
Make that turn 1.
So tight.
Now he comes down to turn 3.
Now 0.09. Still less than 1/10 of a second. He lost it last time in turn 3. He needs a good one.
Ooh. Turn 4 off the corner, the line. Checkered flag. He did it. Moves to P1.
And that was that number. Look, 0.079. Less than 1/10 of a second. He gets Rahal.
Wow. Here comes Rahal. Ryan Briscoe crosses the line. He doesn't advance. Here comes Graham.
Yeah, I don't think Graham had anything left on those tires.
No.
Nice job. We ended up P2 there, buddy. Nice effort.
Right now he's second quick.
That's amazing. 0.079. He was so close.
Franchitti is still on a run. He is currently in 4th.
He's got enough speed to move up one spot.
Turn 1.
And, you know, being third, if you could start third here and not 4th, that's a big difference. You want to be on the inside. So this counts.
That right front up.
Yeah, but
a little bit.
He may have given that may have gone away. He may stay 4th.
Franchitti will complete the qualifying. Here's the checkered flag. Did he advance from 4th? He did not.
Isn't it amazing? Just that little lockup just erases everything.
Will Power, Graham Rahal, Ryan Briscoe, Daria Franchitti, Sebastian Bourdais, and Ryan Hunter-Reay are the top 6. Graham's happy that he'll start on the outside of row number 1 as Power wins a pole again.